Hey everybody, it's Kira and welcome back to my channel. So today I have my April wrap up and haul for you guys. As I said in my previous video about my April plans, I was so busy with school that not a lot of reading got done. So we'll do the wrap up part first. So the first book that I finished in the month of April was City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I think I always say that name wrong every time. I think I talked about it in my previous video, but it's a really cool YA fantasy, and I really enjoyed it. And I read it in anticipation of The Kingdom of Copper, which is the second book in the series, which was so amazing. I absolutely loved the book. It was just full of so many betrayals, so much drama within the family, and so much political intrigue. It was so well done, and I really enjoyed it. And now I'm super excited for the third book, which comes out, I think, January next year. I don't know, not till next year, which this book ended on a super huge cliffhanger. So I don't know how I'm going to survive until next year when I get to find out finally what happens. But it was just really fun to continue being in that world, especially after, right after reading the first book. So what happened was I read the first book in, I think, over a week. And then I needed to return the second book to the library, and I ended up reading it, almost all of it, in one day. I just sat down and I read it. I didn't do homework that day. It was a Saturday, and I was totally procrastinating a lot of homework, but I just sat down and I read this entire book. It was so good, and it kept me reading, and yeah. Then I had a lot of homework to do the next day, but, it's fine. And then the only other book that I finished last month was, Predator's Gold by, oh shoot, whoever wrote the Mortal Engine series. This is the second book, or is it the third? I don't even remember. That's how much of an impact it left on me. I was listening to the audiobook to fall asleep too, so again, it took me a really long time to get through it, but it's just okay, they're books to fall asleep to. I kept reading them because I was somewhat interested. So now I was in the middle of the third book, which takes place 15 years after the end of the second book, which really surprised me, that time jump. But there's something wrong with my listening app, and so it's just not happening. So anyways, long story short, those are all the books that I read last month. So right now as I'm filming, it is May, what is the date today? It's May 12th. So I literally have this week of finals, and I only have one more paper to write and one presentation to do, and then I'm completely done with the semester, so I'll have so much time to read for fun. I had so much homework. I had at least 10 papers or projects to do over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been insane. So I'm really tired, but I'm really excited to read for fun. So we're just gonna move straight into the haul portion of this video. I got a bunch of books because there was a library book sale. First, I'll go through the one book that I got for my birthday, because it was my birthday last month. So I turned 20, which is literally insane. Doesn't really feel real. But the book that my parents got me is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, which I read this my senior year of high school, and I absolutely loved it. And so I'm super excited to have my own copy of it now to reread, because I definitely want to reread it because it's amazing. It's a historical fiction about two kids who lived during World War II. One is a girl who lives in France. She's French and she is blind. And the other one is a boy who lives in Germany, and he becomes part of the Nazi army in a way. And so eventually their paths end up intertwining, and it's an amazing book. It's really good. So yeah, that's the one book that I got for my birthday. And then there was a library sale. Library book sales are my weakness. But it was $7 to fill a bag. So of course I'm gonna do it. So I'll go through some of these books I know about already, and some of them I have no idea what they are about. So the first book I have is The Last Sin Eater by Francine Rivers. If this looks familiar, it's because I read it earlier this year because my friend was lending me her copy, but I found my own copy. So it's kind of a historical fiction with a little bit of magical realism possibly in it. But it's about a girl and her community in the 1800s, and then there's this guy who comes to town. There's this preacher that comes to town and kind of turns the whole thing upside down, and it's based on this concept of the sin eater, who is a person who is outcast from their society, but lives only to eat the sins of those who have died. It's a really good book. I really love it. Very different from Francine Rivers' other books, but I was super excited to find it for myself. The next two are The Power of Six and The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore. These are Lorien Legacy books from the I Am Number 4 series. I got these because my brother really likes them, so I'm probably going to give them to him as a present, but I have the first book, but he already has that, so I have to figure out what to do with that. But I don't remember how many of these I read, because I read a couple of them years and years ago when I was reading the I Am Number 4 series. But I don't remember how many I read. But these are, I don't even know what books in this series, like what number in this series these are. That's how much I know about these. Okay, this next one is literally because it looks cool. Cover by? Yes. But was it only less than $1? Heck yes. So it's called The Kingdom of Little Wounds by Suzanne Kokel. But this cover is so cool, and it has stained edges, so I couldn't say no. I think it's a fantasy book. Okay, I'll just read you this. It is while I stitch together the queen's gown on the night her eldest daughter is to die that I first sense an uneasy power. So it's a Scandinavian city and possibly powers and magic maybe, but political intrigue, palace stuff. I don't really know, but it just looked amazing. The next book is one that I've heard a lot about on BookTube, actually, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Hannah from A Clockwork Reader really, really loves this book, and so I saw it and I was like, hey, I should pick that up because she recommended it. So, yeah, I don't really know what it's about, honestly, but I'm excited to get to it at some point. Okay, and next we have a book that I'm very excited to have, and that is An Echo in the Darkness by Francine Rivers. This is book 2 in the Mark of the Lion series, so now I own all 3 books, which is just fantastic because this series is amazing. This cover is better than the first book's cover, but I still don't love this cover, so if I could find the other cover, I will totally get it. But this is just an amazing historical fiction series about a girl named Hadassah who's Jewish, and she becomes a slave, and it's insane. It's an amazing, such well written, lots of good angst, and just amazingness. I don't even know what else to say. Next up is a book that I kind of already have, but you know, we're just gonna go with it, and that's The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis. This is the movie edition cover, and I have the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in the movie cover as well, but I also do want to own all the books individually because I just have them all in one big bind up and it's just too big, so kind of trying to collect them. I also just because I have the first and the third one, like the second one with the movie cover, just because why not. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this one. So this next book I don't know much about, but it is What World Is Left by Monique Polak. All I know about this is what it tells me from the cover, which is that it is a Holocaust narrative. So I'm excited to read it, honestly. I don't know if it's fiction or nonfiction. I'm excited to read this. And then the last book that I have, so I went through this really fast, but the last book that I have is The Young World by Chris Weitz. It's a dystopian book, and that's all I know about this either. But it looked really interesting, and dystopian is something that I enjoy reading a little bit here and there now that the craze has kind of moved on. A little bit of dystopian here and there is pretty good. So those are all the books that I got this past month. If you know anything about any of them, please let me know. I would love to hear about them. So right now I am rereading An Ember in the Ashes because it's my favorite series, and I'm done with my semester, almost done with my semester, so treat yourself, right? But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say in this video other than be looking out for more videos coming your way soon, because now I will have time to make them. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!